Oh, wait. I almost forgot. I just remembered I have that one other thing. Yeah. We have Mairtinn as an Adventure Time character, too. You guys know I live in the future, so there's not a whole lot about my life I can get into without causing an entire world of confusion. One of the things I think is safe to mention is how the lands of Oo and the Wild Country are really kind of similar. What does that mean? The Wild Country. Well, yeah, there was a huge war that broke out sometime in the 21st century, and a lot of the countries you guys are familiar with got decimated really bad. Most notably, the United States. I don't think there's a cohesive thing to call as a United States anymore. The only Americans are really people who are accustomed to living in the Wild Country. There are all sorts of broken and scattered artifacts across the Wild Country, too. Big city ruins, broken tech, and civilizations unlike anything you're used to. I think of it like how a lot of things in Adventure Time have a sort of presence that you wouldn't expect. The elements are candy, ice, fire, and slime, and kingdoms are built up around sentient breakfast food and all kinds of crazy things. Well, that doesn't happen too much. I know of some of the plants outside of Atonement can track movement. We do have the Burners living in Blackrock, and they're the biggest group of nomads that ever walked. A lot of Fae settlements also have humans, and the Orc and Wood Elf tribes have worked hand in hand with a lot of the indigenous Americans to start putting the land back together. In a lot of ways, we see this nature overtaking Old World and Oo as well. Broken cars and buildings, ruins of humans' time in a world they couldn't control. Huh. You know, come to think of it, with all the apocalyptic, sci-fi, fantasy stuff and D&D, pop culture references in both series, and Pendleton Ward is around the same age as A.A. Moreland. Hey, I wonder if maybe they played in some of the same RPG chat rooms when they were younger. There was a character. His name was Flynn. Flynn the Mighty? He kind of reminds me of Billy, but it's probably just a coincidence. Anyway, heroes like Finn and Fiona remind me a lot of Mairtinn, actually. They, of course, prefer swords, but more than that, they have a strong sense of justice, adventure, and freedom. And this is part of the trope that is called the classic hero. In storytelling, there are 5 basic archetypes for a hero. Anti-heroes are the protagonists of the story, but they don't embody any of the classical hero traits like honor or bravery. Think of people like Light Yagami from Death Note or Walter White. The story may focus on them, but they're not the good guys. Byronic heroes, on the other hand, are the ones you see that are kind of always the architect of their own demise. Think like Victor Frankenstein. Then there's the everyman, the classical, and the epic heroes. And believe it or not, that's where Shane, Mairtinn, and Madeline all land respectively. One of the other things I like about Adventure Time series is how the background contains a bunch of hidden details. Things like the hidden snail in most of the episodes, or the little hidden mentions that cameo back to the original series, hidden all over the first episode of Fiona and Cake. Of course, they all embody the classic blonde hero. And why are blonde heroes so important? Well, there's actually a variety of reasons. Occam's razor, which is the most likely one, would say it has to do a lot with a mostly Eurocentric entertainment market. For a long time, the world has had a mostly Anglo-washed view of the world, and this has seeped into many of the tropes and classic standbys of storytelling. But more than that, many classical heroes and divine beings were said to be blonde. Sif, the Norse goddess of grain and fertility, was said to have golden hair that was stolen by Loki. Sun Wukong from the Journey to the West story is said to have blondish brown hair. In ancient Greece and Rome, blonde hair was usually associated with attractiveness and sensuality, but more importantly with the northern Celtic and Germanic people. But another reason heroes may have blonde hair is because blonde is associated with rarity and youth. Well, I mean, humans are pretty rare in OO. That was established in the first season. And most Adventure Time shows Finn as a boy. And we do see him grow up, but we really get to know him in his youth, in his adolescence, as he's learning what it is to make a hero. Likewise with Mairtinn, he's a Tuatha, and those are extremely rare by his time, even more so now. The Tuatha De Danann are an ancient race of Celtic people that are said to have descended from the Fae themselves. Fiona and Finn also have a special magical companion. While Mairtinn doesn't grow up with any pets, and even though Jake and Finn do consider each other brothers, I just thought that making it Shane would not really sell the idea that we're going for here. I wanted to go with a special magical creature that helps Mairtinn on an epic quest. And this takes the form of the green dragon, Dragonus. You might remember him from the Puff the Magic Dragon song, don't you? Well, also, I noticed that some eagle-eyed viewers saw the Easter egg of the green dragon that was flying overhead during Catch and Kiss. This is a character teaser that I'll get into later, and one of the highlights as Season 1. He serves as a mentor for our trio, which is another important part of the monomyth. A mentor, like Virgil, in the Divine Comedy, to guide the hero along their fated path. And what path could that be that a dragon can show them? That's a story for Season 2. So I hope you'll notice that I really didn't do a lot of shading with this one like I did with Fiona and Cake. That's just Adventure Time's style. But in keeping with that, I took some parts of both characters that are a little more like hair. Hair in Adventure Time, especially Finn and Fiona's hair, the lines aren't the hard black color unlike the rest of them. These colored lines give the animation a softer feel. Think Samurai Jack. I really like coloring these style swaps. Speaking of Jack, maybe a Genndy Tartakovsky style would be pretty cool. What do you guys think? Not only of this, but of the style swap idea. Leave a comment and tell me what style you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you did, please like, subscribe, and ring my bell. Comet Bogbog's link is down in the description, followed by the Tales of Atonement Patreon. The novels are available for patrons, albeit in an unpublished text-only format. But purchasing that tier also gets full access to our comic books and art like this to color on your own. Not to mention every patron that spends at least $1 a month gets their names added to the credits of every video we make. Current patrons are Shadow Fox, Arya Gamari, Charles Tam, Jace Morland, and Lundair Lumen. Thanks, guys. We love your support.